Hi, I'm Sarah with BP3, and joining me today to discuss Intelligent Document Processing, IDP for short, is Tom Wilger, VP of Artificial Intelligence here at BP3.
Hi, Sarah. It's great to be here.
Tom, let's start with the big picture. Many technology analysts are suggesting the adoption of IDP solutions has hit an inflection with an annual growth exceeding 50%. Can you tell us a little bit more about IDP and why so many organizations are investing in this technology?
At its core, IDP is about automating how complex documents are processed, typically eliminating tedious and time-consuming manual work, and then feeding the output into downstream applications. To do this at scale, we draw on a range of core technologies, including optical character recognition, computer vision, machine learning, and deep learning models and natural language processing. From a maturity perspective, we've reached a point where IDP solutions can efficiently process all types of documents. Although as a tech geek, I'm excited about the technology, I'll admit that isn't what's driving the uptick in adoption. Simply put, organizations are investing in IDP solutions because they are capturing tangible benefits in terms of reducing costs, improving operational efficiencies and effectiveness, and increasing productivity.
Well, we may have to do another interview to dive deeper into the technology itself. For now, let's focus on how it's being used. It strikes me that the potential applications in IDP solutions could be quite broad. After all, despite being in the digital age, we still see unstructured documents, often paper-based, at the heart of so many mission-critical activities. Are there certain areas where you're seeing the most rapid growth?
Absolutely. Some of the most common use cases where organizations are realizing tangible benefits from IDP include invoice processing, which is an area where BP3 is doing some particularly interesting work with our clients, order forms, insurance claims, patient onboarding, and proof of delivery. However, as you've mentioned, there are really a wide range of potential use cases.
You mentioned BP3 is helping its clients automate its invoice processing, and we know that many organizations struggle with processing thousands of invoices each month. Can you talk more about their challenges and why they're looking at automation rather than adding to their headcount?
Our experience suggests accounts payable departments in many organizations are struggling with similar challenges, especially those that receive a high mix of paper invoices and a diverse range of formats. Because their processes are often tedious and manual, they struggle to control processing costs and cycle times, often alienating their suppliers and incurring financial penalties. Unfortunately, in today's labor market, finding, hiring, and training new employees can be one of the biggest challenges that businesses face. In fact, employees are a company's biggest expense. It's why so many organizations turn to technology to simplify the underlying process.
So we know that hiring employees might not be feasible for every business, but what's another significant advantage to investing into automation software?
To be honest, the advantages of automation really speak for themselves. It isn't unusual for organizations to realize a 5 times lower processing cost per invoice, fueled by a 2.5 time improvement in both the rate of touchless invoices and the single invoice processing time. At the same time, clients are also experiencing accuracy improvements with a 50% reduction in invoice exceptions.
So we've talked a little bit about invoice processing and the need for automation, but can you describe to us what exactly intelligent invoice processing is?
Sure. Intelligent invoice processing is a solution we've put together for our customers that's specifically designed for processing invoices at scale. From a technology perspective, we've curated best-in-breed machine learning models and optical character recognition and invoice named entity recognition. We then configure the solution for each of our customers by adding specific logic to the data extraction process that follows how their accounts payable team deals with the messiness of invoice data. Finally, because AI is never perfect, we backstop the machine learning models with our own document review team. So whenever there's a problem extracting a field because it's smudged or maybe the address is missing a zip code, our document review team acts as the human in the loop to correct the problem.
In other words, the client gives us information and we give them back clean data.
Exactly. Let me give you an example. We have a client for whom we've processed about 5,000 invoices a day. I don't know how many vendors they have, but I suspect it's somewhere in the 1,000. Most of these vendors are in the US, so their remittance addresses have a similar format. Now, when we extract addresses for this customer, they need the data broken out by street address, city, state, and zip. That's not a problem for us because our solution allows us to add customer-specific logic to the extraction process. At first, we were only processing invoices from US-based vendors. But one day, we started getting Canadian invoices. Since Canadian addresses are formatted differently, these invoices were all getting sent to our document review team, who would then manually extract the address data and send the invoices on their way. The customer didn't know our document review team was doing this extra work, and why should they? Now, we eventually figured out what was going on, and we modified the custom logic to parse Canadian addresses. But from the customer's perspective, the beauty of this solution is it just works.
It seems like there's always going to be a constant influx of invoices coming from organizations. Can you describe a typical BP3 engagement, and what sets BP3 apart from its competitors?
Sure. Getting started with invoice processing is pretty straightforward. We typically start the engagement by finding out what fields need to be extracted from the invoices. It's also important to understand if the client's accounts payable department needs any sort of validation logic on any of the fields. Once we deploy our IDP solution to an isolated AWS account and configure it with the customer's specific requirements, we're ready to start testing the extraction process. Once that's done, we typically work with the client's IT department to integrate the extracted invoice data into their accounts payable system. From start to finish, the whole process usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks.
Going off what you just said, what industries typically will benefit from this solution?
I'd say customers in manufacturing, healthcare, utilities, transportation, and retail. In short, any company that wants to improve their invoice process. It's low-hanging fruit that many businesses would be prudent to grab.
Well, thanks for sitting down with me and sharing a little bit more about invoice processing and how companies can simplify their invoice processing with BP3.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to learn more about intelligent invoice processing or other BP3 topics, click subscribe.